story begins with a first officer named Bain. His wife is asking him to come home on the phone. Both of them were broken inside due to their son's illness. The wife says you should stop running away from everything. At the same time, Dan stood at the airport. His charging cable was broken and he was smoking. Still, he puts his power bank in a red bag. Rules say these can't go in checked baggage, but he ignores it. Moving forward, Bain meets a little girl named Cora. She was very scared of the flight. She asks Bain, "Are you the captain?" Bain says, "I'm the first officer." Cora says immediately. She's old but still not a captain. Bain smiles and says life isn't always straight. Cora was traveling with her father, stepmother, and stepbrother Finn. Her real mother had put a GPS tracker on her clothes to protect her, which Cora could see through her phone. Meanwhile, due to carelessness, Dan's red bag is loaded into the cargo without proper inspection. This flight was going from Los Angeles to Shanghai. Esports players were also on board. An American player starts making fun of Chinese players. His team captain supports his teammate. But the coach steps in and apologizes, and calms the matter down. The flight captain was Richard. The plane takes off, and then we find out that Bain was in the Air Force before. Bain had raised his hand against his senior officer because he was not following the rules correctly. Due to this mistake, Bain lost his job, pension, and all benefits. Now he was working as a first officer in a small airline. On the other hand, the esports player Lily asks her captain Sam why he was so afraid to read his letter. Sam says he was not afraid. He will read it after returning to China. Then he goes to the washroom, where he had hidden Lily's letters in his phone cover. Cora's father tries to explain. He says that at least behave a little better with your brother Finn. But Cora does not listen to him. She did not like her stepmother at all. Her father went to the washroom, then her stepmother followed. At the same time, the bad charging cable in the cargo suddenly starts sparking and there is a fire. A fire breaks out. Finn can't find his parents and asks Cora. Cora jokingly says that there is a pool near the washroom, and they have gone there. Finn reaches there, but accidentally goes to the other part. A man was playing a video game there. Finn sits beside him and plays. Suddenly a warning comes. In the cockpit, smoke and fire had been detected in the cargo compartment. Ben triggers the fire system, but it doesn't work. Seeing the situation getting worse, he asks for information about the nearest airport on the radio. He finds Guam International Airport closest to everyone, which was about 400 nautical miles away. Meanwhile, Cora goes to the washroom to call her father. There, two crew members of the plane reach the cargo with a fire extinguisher and try to put out the fire. But the fire spreads rapidly. The burning container is released from its bindings and collides with some cylinders moving forward. After this, chaos fills the plane. As soon as the cylinders burst, there is a big hole in the plane. Flying cargo injures many passengers. In this chaos, Lily tries to hold Cora and keep her safe. Oxygen masks fall down in front of all passengers, but Cora's father and stepmother were lying unconscious in the washroom. The flying cargo injures many people. The captain lowers the plane to a safe altitude. Then he announces that now the plane is at a safe height and people can remove the oxygen masks. Meanwhile, Dan gets up from his seat and goes to the washroom. There, Sam hurries out to get to Lily. But a flight attendant stops him and puts him on the seat because it was dangerous to run at this time. Dan sits in the washroom and smokes. That's when the fire in the cargo spreads more. The burning container hits the engine. The engine bursts badly, and there is another big hole on the side of the plane. Some passengers fall straight out. The situation gets worse when the flight controls stop responding. It was flying over the open sea. Soon, the second engine catches fire. Power and radio are gone. As soon as the situation is out of hand, Ben immediately deploys the ram air turbine. Fortunately, the necessary instruments of the plane start working again, and they see a small ray of hope. Cora, present in the plane, starts running towards her parents, but a flight attendant stops her. There, Captain Richard decides to land in the sea. He tells Ben to start removing the fuel immediately. Then he announces to all passengers to be ready for the impact. Everyone cowered in their seats out of fear, but the plane was plunging rapidly. In the cockpit, Richard and Ben were constantly arguing how to land in this condition. Ben advises to turn the plane and get off parallel to the waves of the sea. Both try to slow down. Richard tells Ben to put his seat all the way back and tighten the harness. The whole plane was screaming. The next moment, the plane collides with the sea with a powerful collision. While slipping, he crashes into the rocks. The collision is so terrible Then a wing breaks and separates and the whole plane turns. Then it breaks into two parts. Water starts to fill everywhere and many people die in the same collision. After a while, the broken parts of the plane and the dead bodies are seen floating. The survivors were screaming for help. In the cockpit, Richard was unconscious, and the pressure of the water was increasing continuously on the glass. On the other hand, Flight Attendant Penny looks out of the broken plane and understands that 3 large parts of the plane have now gone far away from each other. Penny tells Cora to stay put and makes her way to the cockpit, where Ben is trying to free Richard from his seat. Just then, Richard regains consciousness. He tells Ben to cut the seat from Crash X and try to get it out. Meanwhile, Sam realizes Lily isn't in her seat. Most people nearby were severely injured. Sam repeatedly calls Lily's name and starts calling her. The tail of the plane, on the other hand, was floating upside down in the water. Meanwhile, Finn is with a man and flight attendant Joey. Meanwhile, Lily reaches the broken part of the plane while floating in the water. Blood kept flowing from her feet. Ben and Penny try their best in the cockpit, but they can't get Richard out. On top of that, the cockpit glass could break at any moment. Ben understands that if he cuts Richard's leg, he will die from the blood. Then Richard orders him to close the door so water stays in the cockpit. Then he tells Ben, "This plane is yours now. Go home and be with your son." When Ben starts to leave from there, Richard reminds him to check the ELT. Ben is stunned to see the outside. Most of the people had died in the last part of the plane, and the whole part was stuck in the water upside down. Meanwhile, Finn's mother wakes up in the washroom. She also wakes up Cora's father, but as soon as they open the door, the water rushes in. Richard sits alone, staring at his family's picture. Then the glass breaks, and the seawater takes him with it. On the other hand, an old woman in the last part, Becky, was still alive. She wakes up. Everyone understands that the water is constantly coming up, so they will have to go to a higher place. Every plane has an ELT, i.e., emergency locator transmitter. It sends the plane's location. He was in the middle of the plane. To see if he was active or not, Ben had to swim there. Ben decides that he will go himself. He leaves the raft with Penny and Cora, but Penny says that Cora was a professional swimmer before. Cora also insists on going with him because she wanted to find her mom, dad, and brother. Penny tells her to stay here and take care of her shoes. Saying this, she jumps into the water. As soon as Penny leaves, Cora sees sharks in the sea. She screams loudly and warns Penny, but Penny doesn't listen to her. Ben launches the raft, and they head toward Penny. Meanwhile, people are stuck in a raft at the rear. Were alive only because of an air pocket. If they had opened the door to get out, the whole part would have drowned and everyone would have died. On the other hand, the shark had now reached very close to Penny in the sea. She can hear Cora's voice from a distance, but she does not understand the words. The next moment, the shark attacks. Bane tries his best to pull Penny up, but he is unable to save her. After this, the shark also attacks their raft. Bane tries to pull her back with a stick and somehow pulls her up. Meanwhile, everyone in the middle of the plane gathers in one corner. When the weight comes to one side, the whole part shrinks a little further. Meanwhile, a woman slips and falls into the water, but somehow she pulls herself back up. On the other hand, in the plane part, Joey was bandaging Matt's injured hand. Everyone together tries to calm the frightened Finn. On the other hand, in the middle of the plane part, Sam tells everyone that some people will have to go back to the middle section. A part is stuck on a reef. Without less weight, it may fall any time. The argument between the two begins again. Even the Hutch coach believes that Sam is right. Jesse heads for the water, but Hutch refuses. On the other hand, Lily, who was on the broken part, starts flowing away slowly. Despite the injured leg, she has to get into the water and swim. After a lot of difficulty, she reaches the midsection. Sam looks at her and takes a breath of air, but then a shark suddenly attacks the coach. JC tries to save him, but he too becomes the victim of the shark. Seeing this, Hutch gets angry. He starts putting all the blame on Sam and starts beating him. Then Bane reaches there and pulls Hutch away. On the other hand, in the last part of the plane, Joey says that she can swim down and find a way out, but Matt stops her. His hand was broken. Still, he insists on going himself. Becky refuses him, but Matt does not give up. He makes his way from the bottom of the plane and finally reaches the surface. As soon as he sees Cora's father, but the next moment a shark attacks him and swallows him. Seeing this, Matt panics and screams. Back in the midsection, Bane tells everyone that they are really very lucky. There were a total of 293 people in the plane, but now he could hardly see 30 people alive. There were also some life rafts here. Ben starts looking for the ELT, i.e. Emergency Locator Transmitter. Cora was still looking for her father there. Finally, Ben starts the ELT and gives it to Dan to catch him. Then on the other side, a shark moves towards Cora, and Ben runs to save her life. But the trouble doesn't end here. One of their rafts flows away and starts filling water again in the midsection. In this chaos, Dan drops the ELT from his hand and falls into the sea. Meanwhile, Sam floated alone, using a suitcase. An unconscious Hutch was also with him. When Bane asks Dan for the ELT, Dan tells him that he has fallen into the water. On top of that, he tells Bane that if he was so important, he should have held it himself. Meanwhile, Cora sees Sam floating far away. Bane realizes he must save them too. But then the sharks are seen all around. Dan refuses to go there. He didn't want to put his life in danger. In anger, he also punches Bane and says that all this happened because of him. Bane punches back and says they'll go, and Dan's coming too. After a while, Bane and Dan reach Sam and Hatch. The sharks had almost reached them, but Bane saves them both at the right time. Meanwhile, they couldn't wait any longer in the other section. Becky refuses to go from there. She just tells Joey to take Finn and leave. Joey promises that she will come back, and then takes Finn with her and moves on. On the way, she sees Matt's body. Somehow, both of them reach the surface. A closed life raft had also come close. There, Lily suddenly sees a plane in the sky. Everyone signals desperately for help, but that plane can't see them and goes ahead. She was about to make Finn sit in it when suddenly the shark attacks. But coincidentally, the sharks start fighting each other. As soon as she gets a chance, she puts Finn in the raft and somehow comes up. A lot of blood was flowing from her feet. She soon becomes unconscious. Now Finn was all alone. He starts screaming for help. That's when he feels that the raft is moving from below. He looks down and sees a shark colliding with the raft. Then he loses his balance and hangs over the edge of the raft. In the opposite direction, water had reached Becky's neck. She starts missing her granddaughter. She prays to God that her granddaughter's life is full of happiness. At the same time, a helicopter is seen in the sky which was looking for the survivors. A Chinese fishing ship is also contacted, and they are told that a plane has crashed nearby, so get there as soon as possible for rescue. At the same time, Haj, sitting on the raft, looks at Sam, who was repeatedly looking at Lily. He tells her to express her feelings, but Sam says he can't do that because his team's rule is that players can't date each other. On this, Haj laughs and says, "Who cares about such rules after all?" By now, Cora had understood that her family members may not be left in this world. She remembers her father's words. He told her to take care of Finn, but she couldn't. After all, Finn was only 7 years old. Ben comforts her and tells her that her son is also 7 years old. He shows Cora his son's old photo, then a rescue helicopter comes to him from a distance. Hope returns to everyone's face. A rescue swimmer is taken down from the helicopter. But Ben starts screaming loudly, "No, don't come down!" But the people in the helicopter don't understand his warning. The moment the swimmer enters the water, a shark attacks her. He has tried to pull him up immediately, but the shark jumps and grabs him in its jaws. The rope was still attached to him, because of which the balance of the helicopter is disturbed. Soon, the helicopter falls into the sea. When the helicopter collides, their raft also flips. In the same way, they take care of themselves and come back up. But while being pulled up, Dan pushes a flight attendant. She falls into the water, and sharks surround her. Meanwhile, a Chinese fishing ship arrives there, although the ship can't get very close to them because there was a coral reef in the middle, and the water was very shallow. Now, they had to reach there themselves, but the raft had no paddles. That is when Ben realizes that Cora is not on the raft. She is alone on a piece of the wrecked plane in the distance. Bane starts swimming towards her without wasting time. But a shark was also coming behind her. Somehow he reaches Cora and tells her to come with him, but Cora refuses. She says that she wants to stay here with her daddy. Bane explains to her that she just has to change the way a little bit. Then he ties Cora to his body, and the two begin to move forward. But the area was teeming with sharks. Seeing this, the Chinese fishermen take a big decision. They throw all their caught fish into the sea. Seeing the fish, the sharks, attention goes there. But some sharks were still following Bane and Cora. That's when Bane takes out his flare gun and fires at a shark. This causes the sharks change direction and move toward the fish. There, Dan sees a packet of cigarettes floating in the water. He picks it up and sits on the edge of the raft and starts smoking. But his happiness doesn't last long. The very next moment, a shark attacks him and pulls him into the sea. No one cares about his death. Finally, all the other people are saved. After this, Sam talks to Lily. He says that he never read his letter, and now he may have lost it somewhere in the depths of the sea, but Lily smiles and says that she knows that Sam had read that letter. He was only hiding his feelings because of the rules. Hearing this, Sam slowly kisses his forehead. After a while, Bane comes to Cora. That's when the network comes into everyone's phone. Cora immediately asks for Bane's phone and checks the location of Finn's GPS tracker. They all move toward the location. There they are given in which Joey was lying unconscious. After a while, he regains consciousness and shows Finn lying next to him. Tears of joy well up in Cora's eyes the moment she sees Finn. The brother and sister meet. Cora apologizes to him and hugs him. At the end of the story, we find out that Ben's son is fighting a serious disease like cancer. Ben calls his wife. Then he talks to his son and says, "I'm coming home." And with this emotional moment, the story ends. So friends, how did you like the movie? Do tell us in the comments. If you liked this explanation, don't forget to like the video. And to watch more such movie explanations, do subscribe to